Hey everybody, we're joined this week by Dan Adcock, our Legislative and Policy Director here at the National Committee, and you were just on Capitol Hill not even a few hours ago, right?
That's right, yeah.
And what were you there for?
I was there for the Senate Finance Committee. They held a hearing on Social Security and mainly about the process, not actual Social Security reform, but the process for considering reform proposals.
Of how we're going to get there.
That's right.
Of how we're going to get there. I watched the hearing from here, and I thought it broke down by the usual party lines. I mean, Republicans were generally trying to hedge about whether they would cut benefits.
Right.
And Democrats were saying that we should raise revenue so that the wealthy pay their fair share, with some exceptions. I mean, there was talk of bipartisanship. So what was your takeaway, Dan? Did it seem to break down that way to you?
It pretty much did. I mean, for people like Senator Whitehouse or Senator Wyden, Senator Elizabeth Warren, they were all supportive of raising the cap on payroll taxes, bringing more revenue into the program to extend solvency. Republicans wouldn't say the quiet part out loud that they support benefit cuts, but you got the sense that some of them, that's where they were coming from.
And we'll talk about how they may want to try to hide those or get political cover to do that in a minute. But I couldn't help but notice that Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who seems like no friend to Social Security, once again today called Social Security a Ponzi scheme, when it is in fact social insurance.
Yes.
You pay into it, and everyone's payments are pooled.
That's right.
So that when you need to collect benefits, you can collect them. So why is it not a Ponzi scheme, Dan?
Well, if it is a Ponzi scheme, it must be the worst Ponzi scheme that ever has existed in history, because the way Ponzi schemes work is that it's like, it's a pyramid scheme. Eventually you get people in on the ground floor level, they make investments, but eventually the money runs out and
everyone else gets screwed.
Everybody gets cheated. Well, there's nobody been cheated in the now close to 91-year history of the Social Security program. Every worker who's paid into it has gotten something out of it.
Social Security has not missed a single benefit check, has it?
Right.
Okay, so that's what we say to you, Ron Johnson. Other Republicans on the committee sounded like they sincerely want to preserve Social Security for the future and that they would like a bipartisan solution, but they're completely non-committal about what the solution would be, and they want to create a fiscal commission. Some Democrats do too, in order to come up with solutions that then could be fast-tracked through Congress. And I thought it was interesting, Nancy Lamont from AARP was one of the witnesses who said, we do not want a fiscal commission. This should happen through regular order, and that's our position too, isn't it?
Yeah, National Committee is totally in lockstep with AARP on this. We think that a commission would be a bad idea. If you boil it down to its most important element, commissions are all about giving political cover to people who want to cut Social Security benefits.
It's funny because Nancy Lamont put it really well. She said, the history of commission proposals for Social Security is, quote, littered with good intentions and failed results. So we had all sorts of commissions in the past, but ultimately it had to be Congress who came up with reforms,
That's right, yeah.
Another thing that Nancy Lamont said, which, for AARP was very forceful, don't cut the Social Security benefits seniors have earned.
That's right.
They're speaking with a loud and clear voice.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of times, and then it's still true, they're not supporting a specific Social Security reform bill that's out there, but they're saying what they don't want. They don't want benefit cuts, and that's a good thing.
And they don't want a commission, right?
And they don't want a commission.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who has his own bill to restore Social Security's solvency by adjusting the payroll wage cap so that the wealthy pay their fair share, he said that Republicans should put up or shut up. In other words, vote on our plan, vote up or down. And if you don't like our plan, put your own on the table. Because the Republicans haven't put any bills on the table yet, except for Senator Bernie Moreno, who partnered with Senator Warren, but we can
Right.
talk about that in a minute.
Okay,
If I
sure.
got that wrong, you can
Okay.
correct me. But Senator Whitehouse said, quote, this shouldn't be hard. This shouldn't be
Right.
hard to do. And he even asked Mark Goldwine of the Center for Responsible Federal Budget, which is a center-right leaning, I would say,
Right.
if his plan would work and restore the system to long-term solvency. And Goldwine said, yes, it would.
Yeah, White House's bill totally would extend the solvency not just of Social Security but of Medicare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As a Medicare is a
Medicare
as a
part.
bonus, and we've endorsed Senator Whitehouse's
yeah.
bill.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and there's others by Bernie Sanders
Right.
and Elizabeth Warren that
Yeah,
do basically
John Larson.
John Larson.
Yeah, Congressman John
Basically the
Larson.
same thing.
They're a little bit different, but they all basically, it's the same theme of making the wealthy pay their fair share, extend solvency, and most of them have benefit improvements that are needed by the growing share of Americans that need Social Security for all their income, all or most of their income or retirement.
So they not only strengthen Social Security and don't cut benefits, some of them expand benefits
Right.
where we badly need benefit expansion. Senator Warren pointed out when talking about the payroll wage cap that it's not fair that a nurse or a plumber would pay the same percentage into Social Security as a corporate lawyer.
Right.
And that's kind of a common sense argument that the American people support.
Well,
right?
that's the thing is that we get the impression that there's probably a lot of Americans that don't even understand that. I mean, they know that they have that FICA line in their payroll tax, but they don't necessarily understand that currently that there's a maximum dollar amount that you pay. So if you make under the current amount, which is $184,500, then that means that you're going to pay FICA taxes all year long. But if you make over that amount, like say you're a millionaire, you stop paying on Valentine's Day your FICA taxes.
At the latest, right?
that's
Valentine's Day at the latest.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of us are paying, and Elon Musk probably finishes, if he pays any taxes at all, on like January 1, right? Or something like that.
Like even before you have breakfast. Yeah.
Right, breakfast on
Yeah.
New Year's Day.
Yeah.
In his Tesla. Bernie Sanders was at this hearing,
Right.
and he pointed out that we have more wealth and income inequality in this country now
Right.
than at any time in history, including the Gilded Age.
Right.
He was making the point that, again, just like Sheldon Whitehouse, this shouldn't be tough, right?
No.
It's just fair.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's in fact I remember hearing Senator Ron Johnson, going back to him again, complaining about, all you're doing is you're putting this huge tax burden on the wealthy, and we're acted like it was the end of the world, and if you do this, where businesses won't be successful. Well, that's a lot of BS, because of the fact that the Republicans just voted for the big ugly bill a year ago,
Right.
last month, which gave away $5 trillion in taxes. That it's a tax cut that mainly benefited the wealthy
That's right.
and large corporations. For him to say that with a straight face just after giving this huge tax cuts is just beyond belief.
Also, it seems fair to me that if, as they say, a lot of the wealthy are job creators and business people, that they should be contributing more to
Yeah.
their workers' retirement, since pensions have practically disappeared.
That's right. Well, and the
Yeah.
other thing is that if you are putting an adequate amount of money into people's pockets, whether it be salary or retirement benefits, it means they're going to go out and spend that money in the economy.
That's
I mean,
right.
this is the thing about Social
right.
Security. For every dollar that is earned in benefits, it has the multiplier effect of being actual $2 that are spent in the economy. And that's true of congressional districts all around the country. All that money that goes into those congressional districts doubles in terms of what it does to the local economic impact.
So if you cut Social Security, you're cutting that economic
Exactly. Yeah.
stimulus.
So that reverse is
effect.
also true.
Yeah.
All those businesses, whether it's a restaurant or a grocery store, of a movie theater, all of them that depend on Social Security beneficiaries for the income, all of a sudden they're not going to have as much income.
Yeah, that's right, and we definitely don't want that.
No.
Before we go, I just want to talk about the conflation of Social Security with the debt, which both the Center for a Responsible Budget and the Mercatus Center, who had witnesses there today, and Senator Ron Johnson tried to do. Even Ronald Reagan said Social Security has nothing to do with the deficit.
Absolutely.
In fact, it lends the federal government money,
Right.
but they keep trying to scare people into thinking it has something to do with the debt.
Well, I mean, it's in terms of how much money, because it is government spending, when you compare it to all the other things the government does, it's a lot of money.
Right.
But all the money that is used to pay for it comes from a dedicated tax through payroll taxes. Also comes from interest on Treasury securities that are held
Right.
in the Social Security Trust Fund, and then taxation of Social Security benefits for some Social Security beneficiaries.
So basically, Social Security helps fund the federal government by issuing Treasury notes. And also, Social Security is legally barred from borrowing money.
That's right.
So it doesn't contribute to the debt. Anyway, I'm glad to have your fresh reporting right from Capitol Hill. And I'm always pleased to have you with us here.
Thanks, Walter.
All right. Rock on, y'all. Thank you.